true life-inspired narrative set in rural Anambra, Nigeria. In the quiet village of Obeledu, tucked into the red hills of Anambra State, stories like Chinaza's don't make headlines. They are whispered in church corners, hidden behind compound walls, and carried by the wind like broken prayers. Chinaza Okizi was born on a quiet July morning in 2010. Her parents, Ikechukwu and Ngozi, weren't wealthy, but they had enough. Ikechukwu drove a minibus between Obeledu and Nui. He was the kind of man who wore his shirt neatly tucked in, always called everyone sir or mo, and never came home without bringing something small for his wife and daughter, mangoes, chin-chin, a loaf of bread. Ngozi sold okpa and pap outside the mission hospital. She sang as she walked, and Chinaza used to mimic her, humming gospel songs while helping to wrap the okpa in banana leaves. They were a simple family, but happy. That changed in September 2019. Ikechukwu left home before dawn that day. He kissed Ngozi on the cheek, told her to take it easy today, and winked at Chinaza, who was brushing her teeth beside the clay pot outside. It was a usual day, until it wasn't. Later that morning, news broke of a fatal accident along the Yuga-Nui road. A trailer's brakes had failed. It crushed 3 vehicles. One was Ikechukwu's bus. He died instantly. His body, badly damaged, was returned that evening by police. The compound was filled with mourners. Women wailed. Chinaza clung to her mother, confused. She didn't understand death, not yet. Ngozi tried to hold on. She continued hawking food, now with Chinaza by her side. But her body weakened. Her spirit cracked. By the second year, she was coughing often, unable to stand long in the sun. Doctors said it was chronic fatigue and stress. Others in the village whispered she had died of heartbreak. In December 2020, Ngozi passed away quietly in her sleep, with Chinaza curled beside her on a mat. She was 10 years old. That was the beginning of a new kind of suffering, the invisible kind. Life as a child no one claimed. After the funeral, no one really knew what to do with Chinaza. Her uncle, Onyedika, offered to keep her for now. He lived nearby with his wife, Igo, and their 3 sons. Chinaza was taken in, not out of love, but out of shame. She became the unofficial housemaid. She fetched water before sunrise, washed the boys' school uniforms, peeled cassava, and scrubbed cooking pots. She was often shouted at for being lazy, even when her fingers bled from scrubbing. School. Who will pay for her fees? Igo snapped when the parish priest asked. We are struggling ourselves. She wasn't sent to school again. By age 11, she was hawking pure water and boiled groundnuts in the local market. Her feet were blistered from walking barefoot. Her skin was darkened from sun and shame. She began to shrink into silence. At night, she slept on a mat in the corridor. When it rained, she would drag her mat into the kitchen. If she coughed, she was told she was being dramatic. But Chinaza had something most never noticed, a willingness to remember joy. She still sang the songs her mother used to hum under her breath while peeling yam or quietly to herself when walking home from the market. She kept an old 60-leaf exercise book hidden in a nylon bag. In it, she wrote, I want to learn again. I want to wear uniform. I want to be free. The turning point. In mid-2022, the village was visited by a community outreach program led by an NGO from Oka. Their goal, to register out-of-school children and assess educational needs. Amoka Okoye, a 26-year-old social worker, spotted Chinaza sitting alone by a wooden stall, half asleep, hugging her basin of water sachets. She looked exhausted and forgotten, Amoka later said. But her eyes, they weren't empty. They were waiting for someone to see them. Amoka approached gently. What's your name? Chinaza. How old are you? Maybe 12 or 13. Are you in school? No. Do you want to go? She nodded slowly. That evening, Amaka visited Onyedika's house. He wasn't hostile, but he was indifferent. If you want to take her, madam, take her, he said. Not only God know who go help person. The NGO arranged emergency shelter. Chinaza was temporarily housed at a Catholic-run girls' shelter in Oka. She was taken to a clinic for checkup, diagnosed with mild anemia and a stomach ulcer. Nothing fatal. Just years of neglect. Within a month, a private sponsor offered to fund her schooling through SS3. A new chapter. By 2023, Chinaza was enrolled in JSS2. At first, she barely spoke in class. She was behind on nearly every subject. She was shy and afraid to make mistakes. But one teacher noticed she stayed back during lunch to write. And what she wrote stunned them, small poems in English and Igbo. Lines like, I carry a name no one calls. I sleep with dreams no one sees. But I will rise one day, with a voice that sings. Her writing was shared with the NGO. She was invited to read at a youth event. She stood in front of a small crowd and read her poem, her voice trembling, but growing stronger with each word. Today, Chinaza is 15. She now lives in a group home with other vulnerable girls. She dreams of becoming a teacher or a child rights advocate. Her favorite subject is civic education. Her favorite day is Wednesday, because that's when they have music club. And every month, she mails a letter to her local priest back in Obeledu. In her last one, she wrote, Please tell the girls in the village that being forgotten is not the end. I thought I was nothing. But someone listened. And now, I sing for them too. Final note. Chinaza Okizi is not just one girl. She is the face of many, too many, orphan children in rural Nigeria who live between grief and survival, whose lives are invisible unless someone chooses to stop, ask, and care. The cry of an orphan is not always loud. But when heard, it can change the world.